up, guys? Welcome to the live ban list discussion. We're going to be talking about a ton of cards. This is going to be for the TCG. We're going to be talking about things that would come back in the game, but also perhaps getting erratas. We recently had that OCG ban list that got a bunch of changes to some of our favorite cards that were previously banned. Cards like Bryanak, cards like Brain Control, even other cards that we might see come back in the game. There are more crazy wild cards. But of course these cards could get errata. But anyways, let's go ahead and first off go over some of the cards that a lot of people want us to talk about. But feel free to go ahead and join in down below in that comment section below. You guys can see the live chat support over here on my right side of the screen, or technically my left. But anyways, your right side of the screen, you guys can see my fellow Yu-Gi-Oh YouTuber helping out right now. But anyways, let's go ahead and get started. So first off, a lot of people complain about Fairy Tale Snow. I think it's a very interesting card because it allows for a lot of cheesy decks. Some people don't like cheesy decks, so they want this card to go away. I personally like it, but this was a card you guys wanted me to mention. So anyways, next up, Chaos Emperor Dragon. It did get an errata, so after you use its effect, it can't do anything else. So a lot of people think that this card can come back. And I can see it definitely coming back. It's kind of a wild card. A lot of people remember this card as being one of the more powerful cards in the game. When you would blow it up, you would get the Sangan search for Yatagarasu, summon Yatagarasu, and your opponent was done. But Yatagarasu is banned, and on top of that, you can't do anything. So at that point, Chaos Emperor Dragon loses a lot of the power that it once had. Let's move this card down over here before we get into the next card that I want to talk about, because we have a lot of wild cards that I want to talk about. But Dark Arm Dragon, I guess they aren't into the Kappa Pride. They are not really interested in putting Dark Arm to 2 in the TCG. At the same time, the OCG did it, but I'm interested to see if Dark Arm Dragon go to 2. Can we have 2 dads in the TCG? Can we get some of that Kappa Pride, that gay pride over there? 2 Dark Arm Dragons would be kind of cool to see. I don't think it would really do anything, but you guys can let me know if you guys think Dark Arm 2 would do anything. No one's really even playing this, but this used to be a powerful card. I would love to see this card even go to 3 to be crazy. Like, I don't know, I like innovative ideas. Maybe bring back like Dark Arm Dragon to 3 and just see what it does for the game. Next up, you guys want me to talk about it every single time, but we're going to talk about it until it becomes unbanned, which is the Elemental Hero Stratos. This guy has been one of the fan favorite cards, and everyone spams it in the chat. Every single Yu-Gi-Oh stream, people get banned. Yes, would be very true. This card gets people banned in the Konami chat. If you guys didn't know, Konami made it so you guys can't even comment at some point. They had enough of you guys saying free my Ninja Stratos. It was spammed for days, and they just said, I'm going to disable the chat. It was disabled on YouTube as well as Twitch for a while. You couldn't even say the word Stratos at one point without getting banned and their chat going off. I don't know. I feel like you guys just kind of play around with it because he really doesn't deserve to be banned. Like, it's kind of a joke now, but I kind of like him being banned because it kind of gives us that joke. Like, if it becomes unbanned, what are we going to spam in the official Yu-Gi-Oh chat anymore, you know? So, maybe Stratos should stay banned just for the memes. Next up, Mad Spectre, Kieran. It's a very annoying card to deal with, so I understand people don't like dealing with it. So perhaps this card can be banned and a lot of players would be happy about it. But speaking of a card that people really like being banned, which was the Salamander. Performage Damage Juggler. A lot of people like this card.
These parts.
Thanks Extreme TV for the host over here. But anyways, Performage Damage Juggler is a card that I think a lot of players, they didn't really like playing against, but it could bring some things back into the game that normally people wouldn't want to play. But I think that it really comes down to a rank 4 Spanish deck. But yeah, this is a very controversial card. If this card comes back, some people will be upset. They'll quit Yu-Gi-Oh, but they'll be back tomorrow. Like, you know, everyone always says they're quitting Yu-Gi-Oh, but they come back to the card game because you can't leave this game, man. It's like drugs. But anyways, Rescue Rabbit, Rescue Cat. I feel like Rescue Rabbit here in the TCG, like, I'm going to remove this because I feel like it kind of hurts people's eyes seeing all these cancel things. But at 1, it just doesn't do anything. And at 3, people will be interested in playing it. And at the end of the day, you're still playing vanillas in the deck. I feel like Rescue Rabbit, put it to 3. Let's let some people try out some other things. I still think like a first turn Dolka is still a very, very powerful play. But nonetheless, yeah, no one's playing Rescue Rabbit out.
Everybody type in the chat, Alex is a stupid...
Okay, man, I'm sorry, those follower alerts, like, they get me sometimes. But, yeah, Rescue Rabbit definitely can go to multiple, and I don't think it would really upset the game. And again, it'll make some players happy to try out something new, or I guess old technically. Maybe Dino Rabbit come back in 2017. But Rescue Cat got an errata, so I feel like with Rescue Cat's errata, no one's really going to be playing it too often, but nonetheless, yeah. Next up, I know we're talking about the TCG, but technically, so many things, the Gishkis got hit before they came out, a lot of different things got hit before they came out, guys. So, Molamrat, it might get hit before it comes out. A lot of players want to hit because they don't really want to deal with it. It's a really, really powerful card in next format. If you're not playing Zodiacs, granted we're counting that everything's coming out and nothing's going to get hit on the ban list. If you're not playing this in your decks, it's going to be too expensive for most players. If this card is like secret rare, which we all know Konami does in the TCG all the time. They put it at, you know, secret rare, short print. And then once everyone buys all of them, they go ahead and they put it down to 1, they put it on the ban list, you know, rip our wallets, right? That's kind of the Konami mentality, and that's just kind of their business model. And yeah, if this card is going to be secret rare, it'll probably get banned on the next ban list after we buy it. Mathematician, I feel like this card can go to 3. I don't know, do you guys disagree with me on this in chat? You guys let me know how you feel about Mathematician. It was a very cool card to tech it in Shadal's, tech it in Burning Abyss, run it in just like random things. It was a cool card, but I don't really feel like it hurts anything if you put it at 3. Like, would it be too good if it went to 3? Like, I just don't know what deck would abuse this card. But next up, Speedrite Terror Top, kind of like a small little rank 3 engine, being able to spam those young Dantes, which we'll come to talk about in a second. But yeah, it's just a rank 3 spam deck. Also, the Wind Witches can make really good use of it, so if this gets hit, Wind Witches aren't gonna really be viable, but I don't know if that deck was meant to be viable in the first place. Because if you throw out 2 Crystal Wings, a lot of decks, it's very difficult for them to deal with it, so Speedrite Terror Top definitely allows you to do it. Next up, Destiny Heroes are getting more support in the future, so they would be definitely in the right mindset if they're like, Destiny Hero, Disc Commander to 1. It would be crazy. A lot of people would be like, what the heck? I made a deck using 3 of these, and I really didn't know what to do with it. Like, I had a lot of draw power, I had D-draws, I had the Disc Commander, I had a lot of the Diamond Dudes effects going off, but like, I don't know, like, what do you do in D-Heroes to win? Like, it's really still not that great at the end of the day, so I feel like Disc Commander, it can come back to like 3, and like, I don't know what it would do for the game, but you guys let me know how you feel about Disc Commander coming back to the game. Next up, Fishborg Blaster. I'm not sure what it would do. You could technically go for a Quasar. There's a play with Rescue Rabbit and Fishborg Blaster where you can actually pull off a Quasar with Treeborn Frog. It's pretty interesting. I don't know if anyone would be willing to play it, but at the end of the day, I don't know if this would really upset the game. But you guys let me know how you feel about that as well. Gateway. This is a card I personally don't want to come back, but a lot of you 6 Samurai players, you need your 6 Samurai Gateway of the 6 to be viable. I actually did a collaboration with Team Samurai X when we ran 6 copies of Gateway because we were doing a tag duel. I played 3, he played 3, and we just trolled our opponent because, like, when you just, even one Gateway is, like, broken, though. Like, you open up Gateway, you can just, like, you do, like, whatever you want. You make Trishula's, you can do whatever you want, and I feel like this card is just too crazy. But a lot of you guys want it back. I don't know. It's at multiple in the OCG and no one's doing anything with it, so who knows. Next up, though, we got Harpy's Feather Duster, Heavy Storm, Giant Tornado. These are all crazy cards, but would they be that viable in the game? I mean, think about it, guys. These Pendulum decks that spam the board, you're going to lose anyway, so these cards are almost irrelevant. But it will allow technically for more OTKs, so I don't know. I mean, I feel like Twin Twisters kind of gets the job done already for certain decks, and certain decks want to get that card in the graveyard anyways, so they wouldn't even be playing these anyways. But I think these are very powerful cards, so I don't know if any of you guys would be interested in playing this. If you guys didn't know, the OCG does have Harpy's Feather Duster, and most decks just side deck it. They don't even main deck the card. So I don't know, you guys let me know your thoughts on like these trap lineups. I feel like Giant Tornado has the most potential for FTK, so I don't know if this card will come back, but I feel like these could definitely come back. Next up, Pot of Desires. A lot of people want this card banned or put to 1 because a lot of people just can't afford it, and I feel like that happens every format when there's a very expensive card that people feel like the game is pay to win. They say they want to ban it. Is it good in every deck? Not exactly, but it's good in most decks. Let's be honest here. Most decks will be playing the card. True that if you banish the wrong cards, like your other copies of Molmarat, yeah, it's going to suck, but at the same time, you got to risk to get those extra cards to potentially game your opponent. Now, these 2 cards over here, they did get errated, But I don't know about them coming back in the TCG. That is, granted, they're getting errata. I feel like the Bryonek errata is really good, though. They made it so you can only use this effect once, and you can only target your opponent's stuff, so you can't bounce back your own cards and do loops. So I think that was a very good errata. I don't like erratas where it's like Chaos Emperor Dragon, where it doesn't have the same effect. Bryonek, yeah, you can't do those FTK and loops, but the thing is, at its core, that wasn't what Bryonek was made for. He was made to go for this card. If you had advantage, you would game your opponent by bouncing back most of the stuff. So I feel like Bryonek definitely could come back in the game if they errata it, and I think it'd be balanced. No one would think it's really overpowered. They would think it's a really good card. Coral Dragon's kind of the go-to level 6 monster that we kind of go for synchros right now. Also, Goyo Guardian got an errata, but I don't care. I don't think Goyo Guardian is relevant in the game anyways. But next up, we got Future Fusion to talk about. This card pretty good. Opens up FTKs, and we get like a lot of crazy stuff in the game. It might be crazy, but who knows? It all depends on what other cards we get. A lot of people want to talk about Tenki because, you know, Road is at 1. Why do we have cards that search out other cards? If a card's at 3, it should be at 3. Why have the ability to search for a card that, you know, is at 1 on purpose? I don't know. And also, technically, you know, it sits there on the board as like another card. Maybe Scrap Dragon can blow it up. I know Scrap Dragon irrelevant in 2016, but maybe in 2017 it'll be good. We'll get that scrap support. But nonetheless, I think you know, I think at its core, like cards like Reinforcement of the Army, cards like Six Samurai, Smoke Signal, all those cards that search out cards, like if a card's put to 3, why do you have like a card that searches out the card that not only deck things, but it also lets you play like 4 copies, 5 copies of the same card? That's the way I see it, but nonetheless, it's definitely needed in like decks like Fire Fist. But you guys can let me know your thoughts on like searchability in the game. Next up, Brain Control. Now this got errated because it can only target a monster that can be normal summoned, so it's like heavily nerfed to the point where a lot of people probably wouldn't even run it. I feel like this is a nerf too hard. It's too harsh of a nerf, is what it comes down to, because most good monsters, like, they're from the extra deck, so good luck with that. Next up, Monster Reborn. I think a lot of people could see this card coming back because if you get over your opponent's stuff and make it like another play, like if your opponent goes off with a really big play, then you go off with a big play, then you Monster Reborn and you win the game, that's balanced in a sense because your opponent was able to make a really good board, you broke the board, and then you get back their monster and then you OTK them. I feel like most times in Yu-Gi-Oh now, especially because the game has gotten very fast, it's almost irrelevant to play a card like Monster Reborn because if your opponent is making a board, you've already lost most of the time. But it's still a good card, don't get me wrong. But in some decks, you wouldn't even play it because it's not like fast enough, if you guys get what I'm saying. Certain decks, they don't have access to getting cards together. They're just going to spell someone over and over from the hand. Most decks will be playing it though. I want to say 90% of decks would probably play it. But there is that small amount of decks that just wouldn't really make great use of it. Technically in the Frogger Zoic deck, sometimes you just wouldn't have access to those cards in the graveyard, therefore it won't be as viable as, again, another deck that can dump the cards in the graveyard, because, you know, traps, you can't Monster Reborn, no traps, but it'd probably still be good in that deck, but you guys get the idea. I'm just trying to give you guys an idea of not a format, I want to say a archetype that could make as good use of it. Again, I know that you play in Frogger's Oak anyways, but nonetheless, I just wanted to point that out. Next up, Super Poly is kind of a wild card. It's a really crazy card. It lets you like do nutty plays that are just like, oh my gosh, he gave me Super Poly so broken, please ban Konami. But I don't know, it's like one of those cards where it would really bring back heroes. Like, if they bring back Stratos, they bring back Disc Commander, they bring back Super Poly, I think a lot of players would be excited to try out heroes. Especially if they were like Super Poly to 3, it would be crazy. I mean, that's what I like crazy things in the game. As far as the ABC goes, some people think Buster Dragon should go down to 1, 2. Union Hager would probably be the card to hit. This card is just insane though. Like gives you free cards, and on top of that, it stays on the board. It's too good, and it searches a card. Way too crazy. Norton's a card I think a lot of people feel like it deserves to be hit. I mean, this card has been the topic of discussion for several ban lists. He dodges it every single ban list. Crazy. They already banned it. As far as Metal Foes go, I asked what you guys wanted to be like banned, limited, whatever in Metal Foes. Some of you guys mentioned Mithril or the Fusion, whatever would be hit, because if they nerf everything else, they hit like ABC, they hit Frogger Zoic, other archetypes like the Zodiacs, the Metal Foes might be kind of good, so they'd have to hit that to adjust things. But anyways, next up, let's talk about some other cards that can go to like multiples, like Book of Moon. Who played Book of Moon? Like, honestly, put that card at 3. I don't know if anyone played at 3. Compulse 3. Who would play it? there's just way too many cards right now in the game that are just outclassing this, you know, like, for example, Solemn Strike. But Solemn Judgment, I feel like could come back. I feel like Torrential could go to 3, Bottomless could go to multiple. Like, these would really help out other decks that probably wouldn't be relevant anyways, even if they came back. Now, Imperial Order is a card that is crazy. People don't want it to come back. People are like, oh, it'd be so crazy because I got 50 copies of it. I'm gonna get rich off of it. Hey, dude, I got one on my wall. Actually, I was gonna move the cam. I got one on my Yu-Gi-Oh wall right here. Check that out, Imperial Order. So, like, some people that, like, save up some of the banned cards, they can profit a lot off of these banned cards coming back. And I do have a few Imperial Orders myself, so Konami, you want to give me some of that? Some of that money? Put Imperial Order back. And I got the secret rare versions. But nonetheless, it's a really controversial card because you activate it. It's like Vanity's Emptiness, auto win condition. Anti-spell fragrance, auto win condition. I don't like these cards though. To be honest, like I don't like it when your opponent cannot Yu-Gi-Oh. I don't mind if they do crazy things like Monster Born, Brain Control. But when your opponent cannot Yu-Gi-Oh, it's not very fun. Next up, Excited Knight. I feel like if your opponent goes off, they should have won. What are they doing? So Excited Knight, can we get it at least? Like it's irrelevant to put it at 1. Like. It doesn't matter. You only need like 1 anyway. Some people did play 2 that have top in the past, but I don't know. I feel like it should be at 1. Some people wanted this card gone. In fact, in the OCG, they actually put the card. Who did they put it at? Totally Awesome is now limited. So rip that deck idea. I mean, we already kind of bought it in the TCG here. So at that point, you know, again, the Konami's mentality is sell it to people, make people spend their money. Put it on the ban list, make people upset, make them buy the new stuff. That's kind of how it works. I feel like Dante dodged the ban list like damn, Dante, back at it again, like on that ban list discussion, and he doesn't get hit. Like, he gets talked about every single ban list, and then they hit like Beatrice out of nowhere. But, I don't know, like, you guys can let me know how you feel about Dante. I just feel like I've seen this guy enough times, like, he can go away. Like, I've seen enough of him, like, honestly. I'm not saying he needs to be banned. A lot of people want him to put down to 1. Whatever, you guys let me know your thoughts on that. I believe in the OCG they did put it down to 1. Yeah, they did. But for the most part, I'm over him. You know what I mean? I feel like certain times a deck could be cool, but it's seen its time. You know, like for example, you know, Exactors, they saw their time, but like, you know, we bring them back. You know, they've been out of the format for long. Ban Dante, put them down to 1 for a bit. Maybe bring them back like 2 years from now, or like, you know, next year, whatever. Bring them back in another ban list. You know. Next up, Wind Up, Cures, and Mate. Sure, why not? Like, I hated playing against Wind Ups when they would loop you, but the thing is that, like, we haven't seen it in a while. It'll make some players excited to maybe get back into the game that have these older decks. But next up, let's go talk about some wild cards. These 9 cards over here, these are the crazy wild cards that a lot of players are like, I don't want this to come back, but other players are like, yeah, put it back, make people upset. It's kind of how Yu-Gi-Oh mentality is. Mercuria, they probably would nerf him, similar to the Temple of the Kings where you can only activate 1 trap card. If they do that, then he's irrelevant, but if they make him normal, oh my gosh, FTKs for days, boys. Get ready to get FTK'd. Next up, Ultimate Offering. Ultimate Offering gadgets. I mean, if you activate it, you win. But then again, there's so many like decks like that right now in Yu-Gi-Oh! Like, if you go Tournament Momorat, like it's a 1-card Exodia. You can actually Exodia your opponent with just 1 card. It's pretty ridiculous. But this is one of those cards where like it makes like stupid boards. With 1 card, you get like the multiple synchros, exceeds, and then like you still have cards in your hand. It's really unbalanced. But like in Ultimate Offering, you have to set it. It's a trap card. It's slow. Who plays traps in 2016 that aren't you know, Solemns? So exact or Vanity's Emptiness. So like it is really slow. Next up, Cyberjar. This would be crazy. People would flip out if Cyberjar came back and flipped up and just made them table flip. It's a crazy card indeed. Cyberjar is one of those controversial cards where you prank your opponent, you set it, they attack into it, and next turn you just game your opponent. Really crazy stuff. Next up, Dragon Rulers. People are like, put the Dragon Rulers back, YOLO. I don't know, guys. I feel like they're too good, but at the same time, you guys don't know there is a lot of rank 7 stuff coming out in the game, and I feel like what made rank 7s good? Dragons. So put dragons back. It would be crazy. And oh yeah, Cyberjar Prediction Princesses would be crazy too. Yeah, you're right. Oh my gosh. Some people talk about Mirage Nightmare. I don't know, like, some of these cards are really crazy, guys, but keep in mind, Spellbook of Judgment was made, and I know I mentioned this every single time we make a ban list. But the thing is, if they made Spellbook Judgment, these are the same people that could be putting back Mirage on Nightmare in the game. Like, it's the same people that made these cards that are unquestionably should not be in the game. They put Snatch Steal back in the game. People got really upset about it, but they were like, hey, let's put it back. And then they put it back for, like, you know, just one ban list, just to get people's jimmies rustled. I feel like they do that on the ban list just to trigger people. Fiber Jar, that would be another one of those crazy cards. Shockmaster, locked out of the game. Love Alpha Chain, get FTK, Scrub. Graceful Charity would be crazy. Pot of Avarice, it'd be pretty good. I think a lot of decks would be playing it. Change of Heart would be crazy too, but maybe they errata it where you pay like 6,000 life points, change your heart. I don't know. They do really crazy stuff with the whole like erratas. But anyways, lastly guys, I do want to talk about other decks that people want to come back into the game. Decks that people already have, so you don't have to invest money into another thing other than maybe buying a few support cards. So some people want Towers back. I feel like there's so many cards like Towers. Why is this card even banned, Konami? You have like every deck gets a card that can't be targeted, can't be destroyed, comes out and destroys everything. Like why can't we just have like Towers? Like, come on. Like I just want to outskill my opponent. Nice. What's up, Trigger?
Sierra Echo November Delta November Uniform Delta
Uniform
Echo Sierra.
Delta. Okay. Also, Inzectors. I feel like people like they hated this deck, but do you guys think Inzectors would be good here in 2017, I guess I should say, because we'll probably be getting that ban list maybe January, February, March. I feel like it's coming right around that corner, so it's good to invest into some of these. Maybe, you know, pick up some Inzector Hornets while they're only 25 cents to $1, and then the ban list comes around, Inzector Hornet at 3, maybe you profited $10. Hey, $10, that's like a few bags of hot Cheetos. There you go. But also Necros, this is like hit, Necros in general got hit pretty dang hard. Like, let me move these to the side over here, because I feel like if we get like double Shred, double Brannock, double Unicorn, and with the new Necro support that's coming out in 2017, maybe Necros could be a deck, and that deck is kind of complicated. Like, I feel like that's a deck where when you see it, you're like, wow, that deck is broken, but you go to play the deck and you're like, I have so many options. Like, it makes you think, and I like decks that make people think rather than recklessly going, send a bunch of cards in the graveyard, Judgment Dragon, blow up the field, Judgment Dragon, Fairy Tale, game. Like, I like decks that revolve around a little bit of thinking and playing around your opponent. So, I mean, I hope Necros get some decent amount of things on the next ban list. Also, like really, can we get like something for Ritual Beast in the TCG? We have this guy at 1. Like, can we get like 2 or 3 Conahawk would make people really excited to again play some of the older decks that they already own. But then also, Shadal's, this was a deck that I personally still have, and I feel like if we just get one construct, like if we go to the ban list right now, this is at 1. We put El Shadal Fusion to 2. We put Construct to 2 would be really ideal, but I feel like more realistically they'd be like 1 Construct, double Shadal, El Shadal Fusion. I mean, if we go to the Shadals, like, this is the only card that we have hit. These are the only 2 cards that we have hit. But I feel like those are the only 2 cards that we need. I remember, like, OCG hit this too. Like, what? But, actually, let's go to the OCG list. Are we in the OCG? Yes, we are in the OCG now. What did they hit in the OCG? Oh, this is at 2 in the OCG, and like, what we really need is just 1 Construct. I feel like Construct coming back in the game again would make players really happy, and I think that would be a great thing for Konami to do. But anyways, guys, that is the ban list discussion. I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comment section below. If you guys felt like I missed out on any good cards to have a discussion with, or any wild cards, some of the crazier cards like the Dragon Rulers coming back in the game, let me know down below in the comment section below, and let me know also why, and talk amongst yourself, because I think, you know, some players would like to see a interesting discussion between, you know, what is going to be good next format. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and if you guys haven't seen the 6 copies of Gateway video, I'll link it down below because it's really cheeky. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure you guys get a like button, a titty slap, so everyone can see this ban list discussion, so we can talk about it. But thanks for watching, guys, and I am signing out. Psych.